So we're doing this series, What's at Stake, this week, as we count down to the midterm elections and look at the key issues that are going to affect your pocketbook and the future of the economic and financial policies in this country. So we started off with the big question of what's next for the financial sector. The heavy lifting of financial reform has been done, that two-year process over with, but now we've got to figure out that 2,300-page bill. There's going to be tweaking. There is going to be changing. What's going to happen with the Fannie Mae's and Freddie Mac's? Well, we asked from KBW Brian Gardner to come on and tell us what he's looking for, and he says, get ready for some changes.
I think we're going to watch for some kind of technical corrections bill early next year. I think people are kind of still trying to figure out how the election plays out. But next year we're going to go in, and we don't even know what these issues are just yet. But there are areas where the regulators won't be able to figure it out, some specific area where the regulators can't figure it out, and Congress is going to have to come in and kind of rewrite and tweak the actual language of Dodd-Frank. And that opens the door to some bigger changes. But I think it's unlikely that big changes are around the corner. I think the biggest change that people should watch for is on the consumer protection side. I don't think the powers of the new agency are going to get changed at all, but I think the management structure, the governance structure of the new agency could be changed. The director, Elizabeth Warren's not the director yet, but whoever that director will be, has very broad powers and is a sole leader of the agency, unlike the SEC, the CFTC, which are run by commissions. I think Republicans would really like to go back, open that up, and make it into a commission so you have a check on the head of that agency.
It'll be interesting to see who that head ends up being. Who's going to be the head of the banking committee?
Well, I think a lot of people still think that Democrats are going to retain control of the Senate, and that if that is the case, it'll be Senator Tim Johnson from South Dakota. Senator Dodd is retiring. Senator Johnson is number 2. Very interesting because he is probably among the 2 or 3 most conservative, most business-friendly Democrats in the Senate, and he didn't have a large role to play in Dodd-Frank. He kept his stuff behind the scenes. But he would, I think he would be welcome from the industry. I take a slightly different look on the outcome in the election, that I think it's more likely that Republicans are going to win the Senate than others do. And if that's the case, it's going to be Senator Shelby. And I think the gut reaction is, if Republicans take over, this is great for the banking industry. It's great for financials. I would just a little caution. I think it could be very positive for smaller institutions, community banks. I don't think big banks are going to get a big break from Republicans. They're not going to want to be seen as being close to Wall Street. And I think there's a conservative populism that's going to come in. We've had a liberal populism in the last 2 years, a conservative populism, anti-big business, pro-small business is going to take hold with Republicans.
Brian, so much more to talk about with you here. Just very quickly, GSE reform, January deadline. Are we going to see an overhaul?
No. 2013, we're going to kick the can down the road. The two sides, Republicans, the White House, will not be able to come up with a deal on Fannie Freddie, so we're going to put it after the next election.
So bottom line, legislation's done. Regulation is what's next on the financial front. And Gardner, obviously, a little bit pessimistic about what to expect from the mortgage sector. But meantime, watch our next InBiz On The Go, What's at Stake, because we're going to look at energy policy. We just saw the worst environmental disaster that this country has ever really experienced with that Gulf of Mexico oil spill and BP. Will there be a spill bill?